Moving on now from the Republican war on working people to the Republican war on women. A Republican supermajority in the Virginia House of Delegates has managed to pass two highly controversial bills regarding women's rights, despite furious dissent by Democratic members. The first, House Bill 1, would redefine personhood by saying life starts at the very second sperm and egg unite, way up in the fallopian tubes, days before the zygote implants in the uterus and begins to grow into a fetus. The Republican-controlled House has also passed a bill that would require all women to have a transvaginal ultrasound, highly invasive procedure before undergoing abortions. Talk about big brother Republicans. Since the Virginia State Senate is controlled by Republicans, both bills have a very good chance of making it to Governor Bob McDonnell's desk, and he has said that he will sign the personhood bill and is still considering the vaginal ultrasound bill. Joining me now to discuss Virginia's all-out assault on women's rights is Sam Bennett, CEO of the Women's Campaign Fund. Sam, it's great to have you back.
My pleasure.
Thanks for joining us. First of all, can you please describe for us what a transvaginal ultrasound is?
I'm speechless, to be honest. What are they talking about, right? It's talking about going into a woman's vagina, right, with an ultrasound device that has been designed to make sure that there is no problems with fetuses when they are developing in the womb. It's a travesty.
So this is actually sticking something inside women.
And you know what makes it even better?
And the state doing it.
And the state doing it. And more than that, let's imagine a scenario where a woman is seeking to terminate a pregnancy because she was raped. And so now that you're going to subject her to this procedure, it's absolutely
like adding humiliation.
Absolutely inexcusable.
Consequences for personhood. My understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this just seems too bizarre for me, that, first of all, given that about half of all pregnancies or all sperm and egg
naturally
naturally are
right.
miscarriage.
Right.
And typically within the first month, sometimes after the second or third month.
Absolutely.
And does this mean that, number one, any kind of birth control that prevents implantation is going to become illegal, which is most birth control pills. Number two, that women are going to have to report miscarriages to the police department.
That's right.
Call them up. Hey, some blood just came out. I think I had a miscarriage. Okay,
right.
come on. Bring the blood over. We got to sample it.
Right.
Number three, that if that woman had been drinking wine or jumping on a trampoline and didn't know that she was pregnant and has a miscarriage, that she can now be prosecuted for manslaughter.
That's right.
Seriously? And does that mean that we're going to have notices in bars that say, if you are fertile, you cannot drink?
It's absolutely wild. And you said something earlier, Tom, and I think we have to talk about for a minute. 81% of Americans agree with this statement. Individuals need to be making their own important life decisions, not the government. Right. So here we have a Republican Party that was swept into office in 2010, right? Swept in, and instead of focusing on jobs bills, what have they been focusing on? Over 1,100 such bills across the country. Right. To take away a basic fundamental American right. And on top of that, what happened in 2010, Tom, which I think is the source of all this? We had the first backslide in the number of women in elected office. That is 2 less women per state who could help staunch this. And what happened in Virginia? There's Virginia Watts trying to push back this legislation that Bob Marshall's trying to ram through to say, well, wait a minute, you're not talking about birth control, right? And they even throw that out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy.
Darrell Issa today held hearings, and one of the few members of Congress, I think maybe the only, with a criminal record, also the richest guy in Congress.
Always nice.
Yeah,
right.
He's a sweet guy.
Yeah.
And he would not allow women to testify. This was about whether...
And then you had
whether
Eleanor Holmes walked out, and Carolyn Maloney walked out.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Which raises the question, if he was saying, because what he said was, well, we're not going to allow women to testify because this isn't about birth control. This is about religious choice. And so I'm sitting there, when I heard him say that, I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, is he saying that women don't experience religion or don't participate in religion or shouldn't have any say in religion?
Well, what he's doing is he's doing two things. He's blurring the line, the sacred line in our country between separation of church and state. He's doing that. And also, he's taking away an individual's right to make, again, their own important life decisions. Where is all of this coming from? And to be honest, I don't know if there's who's behind all this, but I can tell you right now, a root systemic cause, Tom, of this is our country being ranked 90th in the world in the number of women in elected office, and the fact that we do not have nearly enough women in state legislatures across this country, and we must turn that around. Now, we've got a record number of women running for U.S. Congress right now, a record number of women running for the Senate. What we need is, if you care about reproductive choices and options and these fundamental rights, you need to elect women who support these rights.
Time to get over to Emily's list.
Well, no, Emily's list is wonderful, but they only support women that are Democratic. Believe it or not, that we need to also support Republican women that will protect this right. So it's very, very important.
I'm with you. So time to support the Women's Campaign Fund.
That's right.
Okay, Sam,
Thanks
thanks so much for being here with us.